There's a fox in here somewhere.
Just starting on Channel 4, the first in a new series of comic stories starring Peter Bowles as the Irish RM.
But here on Thames in a moment, we'll be going over to ITN.
On Sunday night at 7:15, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
You've no idea what could have caused this.
I don't know what could have done that.
The British television premiere of Jaws 2.
But I'm telling you and I'm telling everybody at this table that that's a shark. And I know what a shark looks like because I've seen one up close. And you better do something about this one because I don't intend to go through that hell again.
The last year has been an exhausting one for Thompson Holidays. We've checked the bedrooms in Benidorm, the plumbing in Poros, the fish in Sardinia. We've tried the local transport in Egypt, the swimming in Sicily, the views in Jamaica. At Thompson Holidays, we check every facility in every place we go. And as we go to more places than anyone, you should find something that suits you. Thompson Holidays. You don't have to hope for the best.
You know it when you look, it must be Danish. And when you hear that baker cook, you know it's Danish. And that Danish smell is another way to tell it from the rest. First you see it, then you hear it, you can smell it, ooh, you can taste it. Insist on it, it's Danish, it's the best.
It's a shame, shame, shame. Shame on you if you can't come to. Yes, it's a shame, shame, shame. can't come to.
If you're under 18 or over 30, you can't come on a Club 1830 holiday.
Shame on you.
Harrods sale starts this Friday, cutting the cost of £1 million of ladies' fashion and shoes by half, cutting the cost of £500,000 of sports clothing and equipment and weigh-in fashion by half. Harrods sale simply cuts the cost of gracious living, starting this Friday.
You got everything? Come on, Mum, come for a swim. Come on.
And where do you think you're going? Have a dip and get some sun. Cover yourself up. Everybody will look. I am on holiday. You're no spring chicken anymore. Oh, yeah?
Pontins would like to introduce you to your true holiday self, the fun-loving person we somehow managed to bring out in everyone. Meet your true holiday self. Ask the operator for free phone 9099 for your free Pontins brochure.
You know that girl at school who's a mathematical genius? I asked her how many Rice Krispies were in the packet. 20,856, she told me. How many Snap, Crackle and Pop? I asked her. 6,952 each, she said. I asked her if she got her brains from eating Rice Krispies. No, she said, I was born with them. And was she born looking like them?
Kellogg's Rice Krispies with vitamins and iron. Have you heard how good they are?
Well, we've seen some pretty amazing boats at this year's Earl's Court.
Yes, it's a truly international boat show too, with boats from all over the continent as well as British-built ones.
And we'll be trying some of them out too.
And there are Greek dancers and a feature on the Falklands War, so why don't you join us tonight on ITV at the boat show at 10:30.
And after that visit to the boat show, there's another story from Lou Grant when the Tribune newspaper examines its coverage of violence. Edward Asner stars as Lou Grant tonight at 11:15. This is Thames from London.
Mr. Heseltine steps out to take defence. Mr. Kent Kirk gives Britain his signal. 2 policemen are shot dead in Northern Ireland. The Parkhurst officer was warned he'd be attacked. And Australia advertised for a POM to beat them. Good evening. Mrs. Thatcher has made Mr.
Today at 4:15, a Dodger Bonzo and the Rest Christmas special.
Can I have a train set, Santa? Just a joke. You've never seen nothing like it, mate. Unbelievable. No? I ain't gonna be no.
Look, there isn't anyone else. The last one went down with flu.
Yeah, well, why me, eh? Welcome to Santa's Grotto. Come in and see Santa. Come on. Oi, not all at once. Take your finger out of his nose.
A Dodger Bonzo and the Rest special, today at 4:15 on Thames.
But in just a minute, the Thames News headlines, followed by The Young Doctors.
Ready, steady, blush, like sponge, smooth, plain chocolate, and a smashing orange bit.
Munchkins. They know only McVitie's bake the terrific taste of the original Jaffa cakes. So that's all I've heard about them. Only McVitie's bake the original Jaffa cakes.
Hang on for the time of your life.
Yikes! Tally-ho!
Walt Disney Pictures presents an all-new cast of truly unforgettable characters. There's Fidget, Major Dawson, and Basil. that villain Rattigan.
What did you call me?
Olivia and Daddy Flaversham.
Bye-bye.
And they're all in Walt Disney Pictures' Basil the Great Mouse Detective at a cinema near you now.
Good afternoon. The father of pop singer Boy George is calling for an amnesty for drug addicts following the latest tragedy surrounding his son. He says it's the dealers who are the scum, and he plans to go to the police with evidence that a doctor is freely giving out drugs. Boy George is said to be shattered by the death yesterday of his friend Mark Golding in Paddington, shortly after they were both arrested and searched for drugs. An international hunt has been launched for two 18th century treasures stolen from the Tower of London. A snuff box made for the Empress of Russia was placed in the armoury for temporary storage, along with a powder flask in March this year. Both are missing. Staff are now trying to establish how the thieves managed to get into the armoury. A complete review of security is to be carried out. 1,900 jobs are likely to go at the GEC factories in Hertfordshire and Bedfordshire. It's understood that union leaders have been told of a plan for redundancies. It'll mean the loss of 1,820 jobs at Boreham Wood, Hemel Hempstead and Radlett, and 80 at the computer department at Dunstable. The company say no announcement has been made and consultations are continuing with unions. The news follows the government's decision last week to cancel all its Nimrod contracts and buy the American AWACS early warning radar system. Police in South London may decide not to investigate crimes like muggings and vandalism under an experiment being introduced in Walworth. Offenders will be awarded points on how likely it is they can be solved, and police will then decide whether or not they're worth investigating. This year's Christmas rush at the post office is breaking all records. London's biggest sorting office, Mount Pleasant, has had to triple the usual number of temporary staff to deal with a rise in mail, fuelled by 1.3 million British gas share letters. However, the post office say letters posted today still stand a good chance of delivery by Christmas Eve. Football, a short while ago, England midfield star Steve Hodge was due to sign his contract to play for Tottenham. Hodge arrived at White Hart Lane this morning to complete his £650,000 move from Aston Villa. He's replacing Graham Roberts, who's been snapped up by Glasgow Rangers. Europe's only female lion and tiger tamer has come to town with the circus for Christmas. Susan Lacey took up the job 6 months ago after taking care of the big cats for years. Now she'll put them through their paces in the Big Top at Battersea Park. That's all for now. More in our main news at 6 tonight. Join us again.
Tonight at 8, the Yarwood Chat Show with a host of special guests.
Can you give us your impression of the Pope?
Oh, I'm awfully sorry I don't do impressions.
An aging gospel singer and a rich composer's wife.
I couldn't have you on the show without asking you to tell us an Irish joke. I find them offensive to the Irish people, of which I'm one. I mean, I don't do the joke about the Irish woodworm that was found in a brick.
A galaxy of special guests in the Yarwood Chat Show. Tonight at 8 on Thames.
And after the Yarwood Chat Show, the final episodes of North and South are at 9 o'clock and then at 10:30. Now it's time to find out what's been happening in the lives of the young doctors.
Do you believe it?
A feature-length Ruth Rendell mystery, this Christmas Eve at 7:30 on Thames.
Now on Thames, a real-life crime. Phil Collins and Julie Walters are the stars of Buster.
Great entertainment for all the family this Christmas Eve on Thames. At 6:30, join Des O'Connor for Take Your Pick. It's a case of kidnap at 7:30.
A woman is missing, and we're here to find her.
As for the bill, they're on at the later time of 9:30. Got that?
Right.
And after the news, Eddie Murphy's on a mission to find the golden child.
Okay.
And with Emmerdale at 7, that's how Christmas Eve shapes up on Thames.
The movies continue through the night on Thames with The Bride in a few minutes. Frankenstein brings to life a new creation, a wife for his original monster. At 1:30, Michael Caine stars as a tough secret agent on the trail of some gun runners in the Black Windmill. And then to follow, another thriller. An ambitious young office worker uncovers a governmental scam in Carly's Web. That's later on Thames.
Prepare to be amazed next Tuesday at 9 when you meet Frankenstein and his creation.
Discover the secret of life, Clever.
But you are not God.
A creature more powerful than any man on earth.
Who is he?
The devil.
Why did you make me like this?
What do you want?
The real story of Frankenstein.
What do you want?
On Thames next Tuesday at 9.
On Thames now, sparkling action and adventure as Sean Connery is Agent 007.
Movies coming soon on Thames. Movies on Thames, coming soon.
Can Magnum's family and friends help him out of limbo? Can he get himself out? Caught between life and death, Magnum tonight at 11:05. Before that, here on Thames, there's the latest national and international news from ITN, the national weather forecast, and a roundup of all today's Thames news.
You'd expect us to know a thing or two about long-distance air travel. After all, we're world experts on cabin fever.
Nobody really knows the origins of well dressing in Buxton. The books say that during the Black Death, the purity of the spring saved people in this part of Derbyshire. They offered thanks by making a well dressing from petals, wool, and mosses to be placed next to the well. A tradition that continues to this day. The mystery? Why should Buxton be blessed with a spring so pure? Only nature knows why.
I have come all the way to Prague for this information.
I have it.
You have the latest viewing figures for Thames Television. Hmm?
I will now tell you in the usual way.
Ah, yes. Morse code with the scissors. ABC1 adults up.
Listen, there's more.
Up by 27%. Excellent. And this is true?
Sales and marketing told me all. Men are so weak.
Acetone, your solution to indigestion.
New concentrated surf micro liquid squares up to really stubborn stains, but costs you less.
When it comes to olive oil, millions of Italians don't, unless it's Dante.
It was a Friday evening, and Joe was out. And the city said to Joe, "Good evening, Joseph, and what will be your pleasure tonight? Perhaps a glass of beamish while you decide." "The city comes alive," smiled Michael, "when darkness falls." Very clever, thought Joe, for Michael.
See the king in action. Elvis Presley, Aloha from Hawaii, midnight tonight.
You're watching Thames Television. Now for a roundup of today's national and international news, we join ITN.
The news from ITN. Amid Bosnia's bloodletting, a call to the world for military help. Los Angeles gets big bucks, Bush blames the policies of the past. The war crimes on Alderney, a German pensioner gets accused. Henry takes the title, denies White his dream again. Good evening. United Nations from all of us here. Good night.
Good evening. Well, the weather often improves as soon as the bank holiday is over, and tomorrow certainly looks reasonable for most of us. But as you'll see in a moment, the rest of the week promises to be quite unsettled. As for tonight, well, the cloud and rain that's been over Scotland today is slipping a little bit further south and east, so some patchy rain to come for northern England and parts of Wales too. Staying dry and clear in the southeast, with a touch of ground frost perhaps and one or two mist patches, and clearer, colder weather coming back into Scotland during the night. We'll still have that thicker band of cloud around during tomorrow morning, and it'll still be producing one or two bits of fairly light rain. But even that will gradually die away, and the cloud will break up a little bit to leave most places dry and bright for much of the day. But thicker cloud will be coming back into the north and west during the afternoon. There'll be rain in the far northwest by about lunchtime, and that'll be edging further east across the rest of Scotland much later in the day. Temperatures tomorrow pretty much like today's in the south, up around 17, that's 63, but feeling a touch fresher up in the north there, 11 or 12 for most people. Now let's look ahead to the rest of the week, or Wednesday and Thursday at least. There's that rain in evidence on Wednesday, a lot of heavy rain for the far northwest. The southeast staying dry on Wednesday, but that rain will come through the whole of Britain on Wednesday night, leaving Thursday with a fairly bright but showery day and quite a cooler one too. That's it from me then. Good night.
Good evening from the Thames newsroom. Flowers have been laid beside the River Thames at a spot where a young boy's body was found today. Police frogmen have been searching throughout the weekend after 4-year-old Jimmy Oliver went missing from a West London houseboat. Mike Pearce reports from the scene.
Tonight, friends of Jimmy Oliver laid flowers near the spot where the 4-year-old's body was found.
He'd fallen in the Thames at Chiswick on Saturday. Despite the tragedy, houseboat owners say they're not necessarily dangerous.
The boat life, because of its nature probably, makes the people who live on boats much more conscious of the fact that they are close to a potential tragedy, and I think therefore that people who live on boats take a lot more care, arguably even than people who live in houses.
This is the second river tragedy in the region this weekend. This evening, police and Thames Water officials are renewing appeals for youngsters in particular to take more care. The Oliver family are devastated by the tragedy, as are two of Jimmy's young friends. Their card reads, "Have a nice life in heaven."
A man has tonight been charged with the murder of a woman at a house in Fulham. Neighbours were alerted by the screams of the woman's 2-year-old daughter, who was discovered near her mother's body in the house in Lindrop Street. The woman has been named as 32-year-old Karen Phonander. 4 people have been rescued after their car caught fire in the tiger enclosure at Woburn Wild Animal Kingdom in Bedfordshire. Staff in Land Rovers went to their help. The lion, tiger and wolf enclosures were closed for an hour. The 4 people were unharmed. Nearly 1,500 animals in a Berkshire sanctuary are under threat because of a planning row. The centre at Binfield was established 3 years ago. Now it houses everything from turkeys to pot-bellied pigs and a family of marmosets. Bracknell Forest Council say it has expanded so much it now needs planning permission. The owners say the animals may have to be put down if the application fails. Happier news from the Tower of London, where 4 raven chicks hatched 3 weeks ago have been shown off. 3 are destined for an animal sanctuary in Leicestershire because numbers at the Tower are being limited to 9. Ravens have been...
A time of passion has its legacy in memory, in betrayal, in threats.
You'll not get me out of this house.
Recrimination.
You never loved me. You never loved any of us.
And bitter torment.
Don't you think being in love is the absolute worst thing?
And the best, of course.
You know, all you've ever had to do is whistle.
Thames Television's production of Anglo-Saxon Attitudes begins next Tuesday at 8:30.
A day trip ends with a dash to the hospital in Brookside next tonight on Channel 4. On Thames, action and adventure. Richard Chamberlain and Sharon Stone on a quest for legendary treasure buried in King Solomon's mines. The search begins right after the break.
European soccer action on Thames. Monaco take on Werder Bremen in the European Cup Winners' Cup final. Catch the highlights in the European match tonight at 10:40.
Abbey National customers like to practice their signatures from very early on in life, ready for signing cheques and making use of as many banking services as they can lay their hands on. Abbey National, the habit of a lifetime.
I can tell by the look on your face you've got Philadelphia again.
I can't get enough of it. Every time I try delicious Philadelphia on something new, a whole world of tantalising taste sensations consumes my whole being.
Perhaps you should just stay with crisp breads then.
Ugh, that good-for-nothing Billy. Never does the washing up. Useless boy.
All right, dinner's home.
And without being asked, too. He's a good lad, really. Aye.
What's in your roasting tin, Granny?
Whatever you're washing up, 1 squirt of Persil gets it all done.
Acetone, your solution to indigestion.
How can
CoverGirl's professional mascara made lashes so big and beautiful. The answer's in the curve from CoverGirl.
European tour starts here. Any questions?
What kind of breakfast is this?
I asked for shredded wheat. Shredded wheat is 100% whole wheat. No other cereal gives you more whole wheat goodness. Hold on, Gasson. He's the one that eats twa around here. Shredded wheat and new shredded wheat, bite-sized, 100% whole wheat.
From the fairest cape in all the world, the freshest fruit under the sun.
From the sun.
The real goodness of Cape grapes and pears.
From the sun.
Just picked, just perfect. From the Cape of good quality.
Blue skies, blazing sun. Solution? Dark glasses.
Simon?
Anne!
What are you doing here?
Looking for Didbury?
Oh, I'll show you. Super car. Expensive.
On the contrary. Buy an Escort LX and you can save over £1,300, and it only costs £127 a month at 14.7% APR.
Gosh, how do you know so much about cars?
I am Simon. Thames Ford dealer.
Thames Ford dealers. Better deals from better dealers.
Y'all ready for this?
Movies, coming soon on Thames. Movies on Thames include a double bill starring Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, starting with Romancing the Stone, next Wednesday at 8.
And we have a big film for you now on Thames, based on the classic adventure story by H. Rider Haggard, King Solomon's Mines.
Movies on Thames, starring Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. It started with a hunt for lost treasure.
I'm stealing this stone. I'm not trying to romance it out from under her.
And the torrid love story continued in the sequel.
The jewel, the knife.
An action-packed double bill. The fun begins in Romancing the Stone, so dive in next Wednesday at 8 on Thames.
At 10 o'clock, we'll be going over to the studios of ITN for the latest world news.
European soccer action on Thames. Monaco take on Werder Bremen in the European Cup Winners' Cup final. Catch the highlights in the European match tonight at 10:40.
To let someone run with a new business idea and see it succeed is the biggest kick I can get. To let someone run with a new business idea and see it fail is the biggest kick in the guts that I can get.
Continuing our commitment to help small businesses in Britain, Midland's Business Banking Charter sets out fairly and squarely what we will expect of your business and you can expect of ours. Meet the Midland, the listening bank.
The chances are the television you are now watching is 50 hertz. If you take a close look at the screen, you'll see that it flickers. On a new Philips Matchline 100 hertz television, that doesn't happen. Of course, it has NICAM digital stereo sound, but now the new Philips Matchline with 100 Hz technology, offers a visibly clearer picture. Now, let Philips open your eyes.
This light Philadelphia you bought is so delicious.
Thank you.
I can't stop eating it.
Yes, I'm rather partial to it myself.
Oh, I'm afraid you want some too.
The new Vampire Vacuum Cleaner from AEG. It has been rigorously tested as you would expect, because at AEG, we build to last. AEG makes the difference. The new Vampire Vacuum Cleaner from AEG Advanced Engineering from Germany.
The Continentals like their Ferders, and Herters one they really like. Cold in a salad or from the Barbie. They're really wild with rice. They make a feature on a pizza. Make hot dogs very nice.
Herter Frankfurters, fresh from the chilled cabinet. Do the Continental.
In this week's Best, we'll help you get that job. 50 tips for beautiful hair. The magazine for all the lives you lead. Best, out now.
Acetone, your solution to indigestion.
Ration microliquid, concentrated. It's smaller, more practical.
Right, then pass it on.
Hey, what's this?
New Radion Microliquid with 60% more active ingredient per drop than non-concentrated liquids. It removes greasy stains and that deep down dirt that can cause odors.
I've never seen a liquid clean better.
So pass it on.
Just a little. Did all this. No bother. No fuss.
New Radion Microliquid, concentrated for a fresher clean.
The world's ultimate challenge has arrived.
Tonight on Hollywood Report, rock survivors Kiss talk about their new album and forthcoming world tour. Donna Summer gets her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And everyone turns out for a celebrity fashion show in Beverly Hills. Hollywood Report, tonight at 2:15 on Thames.
On Thames, every Thursday at 9, LA Law's Simply Smashing.
This is one determined client.
It's less than 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come.
I didn't want to be in love with him again.
That's disgusting. I think you all know each other, right?
Yeah, look, we're a little short.
Hugh, egotistical, arrogant ass.
I'm gonna let you have your way with me once. Give me strength.
LA Law, Thursdays at 9 on Thames.
This is Thames Television from London. There now follows a party election broadcast by the Conservative Party. That was a party election broadcast by the Conservative Party. Now, with the time at 10 o'clock, we go over to ITN.
Majors promised rail passengers a choice of private service. US pilots blame radio mix-up for friendly fire deaths. Repossessed say mortgage rescue scheme isn't working. Britain tackles the deadly legacy of Cambodia's years of war. And loved by Jerrys and Tommies alike, Marlena dies at 90. Good evening. The government today...
Now here's notice of some changes to BBC Two's late-night schedule affecting Open University programmes. Monday night's edition of the Arts Foundation course has been moved to the following Saturday afternoon at 2:20 on BBC Two. Tuesday night's programme for the course Introduction to Pure Mathematics will now be shown on BBC One at approximately 5 minutes past midnight. And International Marketing, originally scheduled for Thursday evening, will now be shown next Saturday afternoon, 13th of June, at 2:45 on BBC Two. These changes are due to extended news coverage of the general election, and we apologise for any inconvenience they may cause. And now, before we end this Open University broadcast, a reminder that OU programmes continue over on BBC Two until 2 this afternoon. But here now is a preview of some you might like to see this weekend.
Why not make time for some Open University programmes amongst your weekend viewing? And talking of time, you can enjoy the oddball in Timepieces. Find out how sugar alcohol reduces oil bills in South America. Or how North America gets its natural resources from the ground.
The 70 tons of explosive fired here have reduced the ore to manageable lumps. Shovels and trucks do the rest. These machines are matched for size, and here the largest types available shift thousands of tons every day. Bench height is determined by the size of the shovels, and the gradient of the ramp is designed for optimum haulage rates. As the ore is followed downwards, a cycle of shoveling and loading clears the ore from a particular bench, and new benches are drilled, ready for firing.
Pine Point from ore to metal can be seen on Sunday afternoon at 1:20. Or you can go from open cast design to the design of clocks. Clocks with a difference.
Believe it or not, this is a public clock. It doesn't look like any clock I've seen before. In fact, it works by water power and gravity. It can't be just to tell you the time. Most of us can get that from our £5 digital watches, accurate to a few seconds a year. No, the designer of this clock must have had something more in mind than just the right time. The working mechanism is really quite simple, but it still amazes me that it works at all. The clock face at the top here tells you the hour, and below me you can read the minutes from the water tube lower down. During the course of each hour, the minute tube gradually fills with water. Getting the rate of refill here is important if the clock's going to be accurate. When the tube's full, a float at the top releases the water, which sets off a whole chain of events.
Time for Design looks at more of the work of Tim Hunkin at 11:25 this Saturday morning. But finally, let's look at the way Brazil uses alcohol from sugar to help run its cars.
All petrol sold in Brazil now contains 20 to 25% alcohol, and an increasing number of vehicles run on pure alcohol. For Ford, alcohol engine cars are becoming a big seller.
The difference between the alcohol engine and the petrol engine part in the carburetor and the intake manifold. The carburetor has a special nickel plated to avoid the corrosion. The intake manifold has water jackets around the runners to improve the drivability. This is a petrol engine, and I will show you how far is the next petrol engine in this line. All these engines are alcohol engines. You can see the difference, okay? And here, Here's the next petrol engine.
These then are just 3 of the many Open University programs that could add interest to your weekend.
Hello and welcome to BBC One this Saturday morning, where we start in just a moment with our cartoon family, Family Ness, covered with spots it seems as baby Ness has caught measles. Then at 8:35 it's D'Artagnan to the rescue along with the 3 Musker hounds when Juliet gets herself into something of a pickle. That takes us up to 9 o'clock when Jake Abraham and Carolyn Marshall hit the road to meet up with the Dukes of Earl, Living in a Box and actor Rupert Everett. That's It's Wicked, and we keep company with the team throughout the morning until Grandstand, which starts at 10:55 and features cricket, rugby union, tennis, racing and golf. So that's the lineup ahead of us today here on One. Now on One we get the morning off to an infectious start as baby Ness comes out in spots in Family Ness.
Mac 2 blows on his bagpipes while Elspeth and Angus watch those notes go floating across the waves. Ferocious Ness appears at once and grabs a note or 2 for lunch, and the whole of the family Ness is not too far behind. Sporty Ness leaps over him, turns upside down, then dives back in, and the beautiful lovely Ness shows she's the kissing kind. Eyewitness comes up for air and taking notes without a care, returns with a crunch and a bash and a splash to the family You can knock it, you can rock it, you can go to Timbuktu, but you'll never find a Nessie in the zoo. You may see an anaconda, a giraffe and kangaroo, but you'll never see a Nessie in the zoo.
Tonight on One, some of the cartoon classics Rolf Harris will be featuring include Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny and a city slicker Wolf and his country cousin in Little Rural Riding Hood. That's at 5:25. In 25 minutes, it's Wicked, when Jake Abraham and Carolyn Marshall take to the highways and byways for live music, fun and frolics. Before that, a taste of swashbuckling high drama with D'Artagnan and the 3 Musker hounds.
One for all and all for one. Musker hounds are always ready. One for all and all for one. Helping everybody. One for all and all for one. It's a pretty story. Sharing everything with fun. That's the way to be. One for all and all for one. Musker hounds are always steady. One for all and all for one. Helping everybody. One for all
Episode 13. Done, they've sworn this vow, one for all, and all for one.
One for all and all for one. Musket hounds are always ready. One for all and all for one. Helping everybody. One for all and all for one. It's a pretty story. Sharing everything with fun. That's the way to be. One for all and all for one. Musket hounds are always steady. One for all and all for one. Helping everybody. One for all and all for one. Kids are pretty corny. If you got a problem, jump. Think how it could be. They cross their hearts and pray. They cross their souls night and day. They drink a beer and swear they're faithful to their king. No matter what you say, they're never far away. They're always ready to fight or to sing. One for all and all for one. Musket hounds are always ready. One for all and all for one. Helping everybody.
I'm ill. I'm ill.
Well, you know what my mum says the best thing for being ill is to wrap up warm, look it warm and try and sweat it out of you. You watch It's Wicked from your sick bed.
It's wicked.
It's awesome.
It's wicked. If your shades are made, but the weekend fades when the meter's running low. You can't treat your feet to a different street. There's a better place to go. Hey, it's crucial. Wicked. Wicked.
It's wicked.
It's wicked.
The station is BBC One, where waiting to get off to a steaming start is the 8:15 from Manchester. Down in the jungle?
Here in the undergrowth of the 815 rainforest, we're in search of that wild creature, the old wildlifeus photographus, otherwise known as an animal snapper. Let's go and see if we can find him, because he lies there waiting for his prey. And Chris Packham!
Hello.
It is true. I thought you were only interested in wild animals.
These girls look really wild to me.
Living through. Gonna take a ride. Living through. Gonna take a ride. The 8:15 from Manchester. 8:15 from Manchester. 8:15 from Manchester. 8:15 from Manchester.
Sweet, take care. Go and see the rest of the mob. Bye. See you later.
Ba 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 ba
on BBC One, 6:35, and do-it-yourself, the art of puppetry, and more in the Les Dennis Laughter Show. Then at 7:05.
My name's Lieutenant Colombo. I'm from the LAPD.
1 Foot in the Mediterranean at 8:20.
Well, at least it's hot and a long way from London.
Yes, there's a planet Mercury.
At 9:10, hospital drama in Casualty.
Do you know what's happening out there? Do you think she's just gently swanning off the planet with a choir of angels?
At 10 o'clock, Paramount City with Curtis and Ishmael. And at 10:40, Tom Cruise in some late-night risky business.
What if I said I'd be your girlfriend next couple of days?
Saturday evening on BBC One.
Desmond Lynham will be taking up position in BBC One's grandstand in a couple of minutes with coverage of the second test and ladies tennis from Eastbourne. Before which, it's time to take a look at the weather prospects now with Michael Fish.
Good morning to you. I don't think I can offer you necessarily uninterrupted play at either Lords or Eastbourne today, but what I can say is it's lucky they are taking place in the southeastern corner of England, because that's where the showers that will be coming along today are certainly going to be at their sort of most scattered. And come to that, I can't offer you a full day's play at the test match tomorrow either, as we'll see in a minute. But we've got an area of low pressure close by, and that's feeding in southwesterly winds, so at least the temperatures have recovered somewhat, but we have got a fair bit of rain around. There's that area of low pressure lurking to the northwest of Ireland. Let's mix on the rain. A lot of it scattered around, especially in northern and western areas, and we are going to find that showers develop during today, but as you saw there, probably the heaviest and most frequent ones are certainly going to be in those northern and western parts, but just look at what happens tomorrow. Some more general wind and rain sweeping up across the southern half of Britain as yet another area of low pressure comes zipping in from the Atlantic. So this is the way things are at the moment. We have a fair number of showers around. There's a good scatter of them over Ireland, and there's a lot right the way from eastern Scotland through northern England and those more western parts of both England and Wales, and one or two fairly heavy ones. And actually there's a real sort of lump of very heavy rain just beginning to feed its way onto the far southwest there. Now we will find during the course of the day that the cloud is going to bubble up across the rest of the country, so there will be showers almost anywhere, one or two of them quite heavy with hail and thunder, but they're going to be heaviest and most frequent, I think, through Scotland, Northern Ireland and northern and western parts of England and Wales. So it is that southeastern part, although not guaranteed to stay dry, that's the most likely place to get away with the, as it were, fewest showers. Temperature's not bad today, at least not bad to compare to what we've got used to recently, around about the normal for the time of year in the brighter eastern parts there, still a bit on the cool side in the west and in the north where the cloud's going to be, and where there'll be fairly stiff breeze. During tonight, the showers in central and eastern parts should die away. A fine night in store. Still some further showery rain to come in the far north of Scotland, and further showers feeding into those western parts, and then late on in the night, some more general cloud and rain coming into the far southwest. A mild night, as you see, virtually everywhere. That's the chart for tomorrow. A nasty area of low pressure moving in there across southern Ireland, so it does mean to say it's going to be a north-south split, I think, tomorrow. The northern half of the country, some sunshine, and again a fair number of showers. Some of them could turn out to be quite heavy with the odd rumble of thunder. For the southern half, although starting off dry and bright in eastern parts, I think we're all going to get some wind and rain spreading across from the west, but it'll be heaviest in the west.
At 3:25 on BBC Two this afternoon, Terry Thomas plays a philandering peer who combines forces with a nasty television personality played by Peter Sellers as they try to get rid of Dennis Price, a blackmailing publisher who revels in the naked truth. Here on BBC One, it's time for full exposure of sport as we join Desmond Lynham for an afternoon in the grandstand. It's 10:55.
morning. You join us for the test match, of course, but later in the day we've got the ladies'
I don't know, that food fight looked like something out of TV Centre Canteen, but there you go, news round back again tomorrow. And of course, so are we. We're here at 10 to 4 on Children's BBC. We start with Tales of the Two Fairies, a bit more Moomin Mania and some top goodies to give away too, so make sure you're tuned in then. Dog's Body and the rest of the team out of space in Space Vets. It'll never work. Oh, yes, it will. So the Panto Dame at 4:35. And then Biker Grove at 5:10, so the whole tasty package starts at 10 to 4. And of course, Artefacts is on Wednesday. What a brilliant tune. That's a blast from the past. Go on then, Margot. Tell us more. What's the lowdown?
This week, Artefacts goes back in time to see if there really was life before CDs and computer games. But that's not all.
We'll be taking a look at fashion in sport and finding out what chocolate and Bad Boys Inc. have in common.
All will be revealed on Wednesday at 4:35 on Children's BBC.
Looking forward to that Artefacts Wednesday afternoon. Only here, of course, on Children's BBC. Now to that hot new show which starts next February 1994. And it's a chance for you basically to explain to the programme where you feel you've been ripped off, perhaps. One thing that really annoys me, and it happened today, I opened up a packet of crisps and it was half full and all the crisps were completely crushed. So if you've been in a situation like that, you feel you've been ripped off and you want to know your rights, the programme will tell you everything, but let them know about your queries. Here's a number. Standard charges apply. Just get the green light to use the phone. 081 576 7629. There's the number. Or drop them a line to Children's PO Box 222, that's London W3 6WF. Can't wait for that show. Now get your 3D glasses on for BP in 3D.
Wow, that's the trend.
Antia, come and rescue me. Antia, where are you? If we move to stop.
Whoa!
Oh,
hello!
Hello there!
Well, it's just...
Neighbors, everybody needs good neighbors with a little understanding. You can find the perfect blend. Neighbors should be there for one another. That's when good neighbors become good friends. Ooh, neighbors should be there for one another. That's when good neighbors become good friends.
Over 1 million Antarctic fur seals. Each day, 100,000 commute. There are over 200,000 birds here on the summer in Antarctica, and the seas around the outer islands are teeming with life. It's November, and the race to breed has started.
Summer in the Freezer, Thursday at 8 on BBC One.
Newsroom South East tonight comes live from the Essex shopping centre that's the biggest in the south. We're here to find out what people want from tomorrow's budget and to ask, will they get it? That's at 6:30.
There's a warming experience for the Addams family on BBC Two shortly. This is BBC One, now the 6 o'clock news with Peter Sissons and Moira Stewart.
Good evening. The Northern Ireland Secretary has been explaining why the government has had secret contacts with the IRA. Sir Patrick Mayhew gets wide support as he tells the Commons peace is a prize worth the risk. But Ian Paisley calls him a liar and is ordered out by the Speaker. The shape of things to come in ITV as Central is snapped up by Carlton. And why it's too expensive for the Prince of Wales to visit Wales. Northern Ireland Secretary to...
Can I take you tonight?
Into the future.
Catch.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The bug's in your skull.
You erased your identity and implanted a new one.
Gets total recall.
We can't let him run around. He knows too much. If I'm with me, who am I?
Total Recall. Next Tuesday, 10:40.
Next, a wedding reception attracts some very unwelcome guests.
So, how's your new girlfriend?
Oh, you'll see her. She'll be here soon.
And you're eating onions?
Yeah, I love them.
She's gonna love your onion breath.
Doesn't matter. I've got double mint.
After you eat, have some double mint. Double mint, double fresh. For that moment of double freshness, just when you need it.
Double mint refreshes your breath naturally.
If you want to know what it's like to have some of life's great luxuries at your beck and call, just ask somebody with gas central heating.
Where's Wakey?
Oh, lovely.
Go on then.
Breakfast in bed.
Cornflakes. Never...
How clever of you.
Kellogg's Cornflakes. Delicious flakes of corn drenched in ice-cold milk.
I could get used to these.
Kellogg's Cornflakes. Have you forgotten how good they taste?
Would you like to help your savings and investments work harder?
Oh, yes.
With a really helpful video from TSB.
Oh, yes.
A video that covers everything from straightforward savings to stocks and shares.
Yes.
A video that's absolutely free.
Yes.
Then call 0345 123 900 for your copy of the TSB Savings and Investment video, because we want you to say...
Yes!
Whether it's the tastiest spaghetti bolognese or freshly frozen cannelloni, only Dolmio will do. Because every Dolmio recipe uses only the finest ingredients, all combined to create that delicious Dolmio taste. For great spaghetti bolognese or mouth-watering cannelloni, Dolmio is simply irresistible. Dolmio, only the best will do.
Need to say sorry with flowers? Look for a company with an 0800 number. They're so keen to talk to you, they'll even pay for your call.
Are you letting money slip through your fingers? You know you could be if you're using a cheap dilute liquid on tough grease like this, because one of these can only do this much greasy washing up. But now there's a brand new Fairy to save you money. It's new Fairy XL Plus. And it's so much better at cutting through grease. It goes much further than even 2 of the other bottles. In fact, while you're spending money on a 3rd and even on a 4th, the same bottle of Fairy XL Plus keeps on going to do all this. So the big plus is you save money, because you get the power of 4 for the price of 1 bottle of new Fairy.
A passion for Macbeth ends in a double murder.
What if we should fail, he asks. We failed, she replies.
A chase across the ocean, a lover's pact, and a daughter whose grief is in doubt.
They were my world.
The Face of Innocence, or The Mask of a Murderer. Michael Winner's True Crimes, Saturday.
A wedding reception is gate-crashed by a deadly, dangerous crew. Time to usher in the equalizer.
ITN Weekend team, good night.
Hello, good evening. Well, after a lovely sunny Sunday for most of us, straight away let's set the scene for tomorrow. And what we have is high pressure very much in charge, and that in turn leading to bags of sunshine as well as some fairly light winds. The only qualifying comment being that rather weak weather front brushing across that far northwest of Scotland and translating into lots of cloud here. Now further south, apart from some light wispy cloud, it'll be wonderfully sunny most of the time. So what with all this sunshine beating down, temperatures are very high indeed. 24 or 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's move on to the detail for tomorrow, and taking the bulk of the country, fine, warm day, lots of sunshine breaking through, perhaps some patchy mist floating around coastal areas, a touch more in the way of clouds spilling down that North Sea coast. Otherwise, in the very far northwestern tip there, cloudy skies certainly, some clear breaks, so some sunshine breaking through, and some spits and spots of rain later on. Coolish start to the day, temperatures recover very fast indeed, so that we get them well into the 20s or 70s in Fahrenheit terms. Good night.
Next week on GMTV.
I'll be back.
From the largest star of them all, Arnie, to the newest, Joseph Mazzello, in this summer's biggest blockbuster, Jurassic Park. Philip Schofield's getting set for his new series, and we've music and chat from Gloria Estefan and the Beach Boys. Next week on GMTV.
That's what I call action.
Here on LWT, after the local weather, Holyfield meets Stewart in Atlantic City for the big fight. Don't go away.
Papa?
Nicole! Some are happy with sheer power. Others prefer more refinement. Happily, you can now have both. The 16-valve Renault Clio.
You see, the powers that be can argue about Europe till they're blue in the face, but British business is just going to have to get on with it.
And we're not just talking about exporting here. There are guidelines some countries have been working within for years that we're all going to have to accommodate overnight.
Which is why we spent 2 years developing this thing called Pharos.
My name?
It couldn't be simpler. His name. The computer program asks you questions about your business.
Detailed questions.
Then tells you the rules and regulations that affect it.
Works for any size of business. It's constantly updated. I feel like we're going on a bit, but this is sort of a crusade for us.
I mean, it's so rare for us to have any sort of advantage in Europe.
Even the Bundesbank doesn't have one of these yet.
Aye.
Bupa now has a health scheme for almost everybody, from only £9 a month. Phone free now, 0800 600 500.
Anyone can make even the most difficult things look easy. Because anyone can use Microsoft software.
When you fly Garuda Indonesia's new MD-11, you'll discover that the magic of Indonesia is not just on the ground. It's in the air.
The Clio and 19 Oasis. You won't believe your eyes.
Very good evening to you. Well, if we take a quick look at the satellite sequence, it'll be no surprise to you to see that most of the British Isles is actually clear of any cloud, with the only noticeable pockets of cloud occurring in the far north and west of Scotland and parts of Northern Ireland. Tonight then for our region, a very clear night, some mist or fog patches, but this will occur mostly in country areas, and temperatures will be at an average of around 13 Celsius, that's 55 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow morning then, a gloriously sunny start to the day, and the only pockets of cloud around will be possibly on the coastal areas of Essex and Kent. During the afternoon then, we will get some cloud bubbling up, but not enough to prevent a lovely sunny afternoon for Wimbledon. Temperatures around 24 Celsius, 75 Fahrenheit.
Now on London Weekend Television, Jim Rosenthal presents The Big Fight.
We have two big fights from the Convention Hall in Atlantic City, featuring the comeback of an excellent world heavyweight champion and a last chance at glory for one of the best British fighters in modern times. Hello, good evening. Evander Holyfield was the
Ray Manzarek and Carmina Burana, his unique interpretation on chrome cassette and album.
Chessington, where all the family has so much to do. A zoo, a circus, and a fun fair too. Near Kingston, Surrey. Come this weekend. Chessington.
Car data. Thousands of buyers call us every month. You could sell your car, van or camper to one of them by simply calling 01 200 0200 now.
Now on 4, Utopia Limited visits the Far East, where the Green Revolution seems to be taking root.
Astounding change in the Chinese way of life.
01200 0200 for your nearest dealer. Philharmonic Orchestra brings you Love Classics. Love Classics in record shops now.
La Cidre, natural cider from France's largest producer. Made only from freshly pressed Normandy apples. No additives. La Cidre strong dry or La Cidre medium. Everything's different, except the price. La Cidre, very French.
The Guinness Book of Records. Fascinating, entertaining, astounding. So easy to get into. And so difficult to get out of.
Vicks Expectorant Cough Syrup helps lift that chesty cough, and it warms while it works. Channel 4. And now some of the burning issues of the world in Utopia Limited.
You might like to know that a double video of the Darling Buds of May series is available from tomorrow in stores throughout the country, along with the earlier series and the Christmas special.
ITV family drama for 92. From the Larkins in 50s Kent to the Bolts in 90s Gloucestershire. Pauline Collins and John Alderton return on Sunday nights.
Listen, you're not doing anything for the next few years, are you?
What's the deal?
House in the middle of nowhere, 2 user-friendly kids. Share the work, share the trouble, share the profit.
Sounds fair enough to me.
Forever Green, back for a new series next Sunday on ITV.
Next tonight, broadcast in Nicam Digital Stereo, Maigret and the Madwoman.
There are 2 ways to ensure a secure future. One of them is to take out a personal pension plan from Equity and Law. Unfortunately, I picked the other one.
Equity and Law. Maximum security since 1844. Tomorrow, play Rich, the brand new game in Today. Simply match 3 numbers to win a fortune.
Congratulations.
Day after day after day. Get your Rich card free in Today, tomorrow.
Hi.
Laura,
You always did stay up late.
how long have you been back?
About a day and a half. I was just passing by.
At this time of night?
Are you alone
Yes. No, look, I'm expecting someone.
at this time of night?
It's a neighbour.
Well, do we have time for a coffee?
Golden roasted, richer, smoother, Nescafe Gold Blend.
I didn't get you out of bed. This coffee tastes good. Hello.
Today in Britain, there's a type of scavenger. Like a hyena, it preys on the defenseless. It shows no compassion towards its victims. Most car crimes are committed by opportunists. If your car hasn't got adequate security, you're making it easier for them. Leave it unlocked, and they're laughing. Car crime. Together, we'll crack it.
Friday feeling. You just can't keep it in.
Maigret, en association avec Cronenbourg 1664.
The BAFTA award-winning theme music from Agatha Christie's Poirot is now available on both CD and cassette.
Whatever the funk is, it's definitely black and it's definitely American. So I've come to the heart of black America, Harlem, to look for clues. Who are the perpetrators of the funk? Where do they play? And where can I get a decent chicken sandwich here? We're going to find all of this out in the funky edition of the South Bank Show. Kick it, boy!
In Search of Funk and a chicken sandwich on the South Bank Show, tonight, 10:05.
It's a golden opportunity, Jeff.
I'll think about it.
I mean, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Offshore, of course. Now, look, Jeff, are you in or out? I'm not in for my health, you know. Jeff.
Larry, suppose I told you I could get a guaranteed return over 5 years, tax-free.
I'd say take it, Jeff.
I already have.
Eh?
National savings certificates, a certain return in an uncertain world. Tax-free, risk-free.
Ah, Jeff. Sausage?
Not for me, Larry.
Only one ferry operator can take you and your car
Hi-ho!
on a dream cruise to the spectacular new Euro Disney Resort. And as Euro Disney's preferred travel partner, book you right into the resort itself.
Hi-ho! 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 Hi-ho!
The dream comes true with P&O European Ferries.
Hi-ho! Hi-ho!
Don't just get across, cruise across.
He was born in our dreams.
Every town has an Elm Street.
And lives in our nightmares. Now, he saved the best for last.
What's with kids today, huh?
Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare.
Great graphics.
Freddy dies in 3D Freddy Vision.
Yes? Oh, are you there? I'm interested in this washing machine.
I'm sorry, madam, this one's been reserved.
Reserved?
Yes, by a Mrs. Jones. She telephoned earlier this morning.
Oh, young man, could I take this one, please?
Certainly.
Sorry, George.
I
want to...
That's reserved. Mrs. Jones has just phoned.
That's what I decided. I take it.
Sorry, madam. Mrs. Jones reserved this by
By
phone.
phone. He's here again with his Mrs. Jones.
If you want the best of the bargains, phone first.
Is this also reserved for Mrs. Jones?
No, madam. Would you like it?
No, thank you. Not good enough for Mrs. Jones. It's not good enough for me.
Tomorrow's Daily Express shows you how to lose weight without a long wait. Because the Express brings you high-speed slimming, a healthy way to lose weight fast without having to fast, in a special Express Extra. And while you're losing weight, the Express is putting on a little extra muscle every day. Monday's Sports Extra has 12 pages of action. Tuesday's Extra is alive. Cash in with Wednesday's Express Money Extra. On Thursday's, Expressions is essential reading for women. Primetime takes you behind the facade of the famous. And 48 Hours is your extra guide to the weekend. There's something extra. And there's high-speed slimming in this week's Daily Express.
You're watching a BMW equipped with computerized suspension. Unfortunately, the car you're watching it from isn't.
Sundays on ITV, join Desmond Morris and Sarah Kennedy for family entertainment at tea time. Animal Country, Sundays.
The hunt is on for Jack the Ripper.
Why is Scotland Yard so interested in a local murder?
Whitechapel. The latest gossip connects him to the house of ill repute in Whitechapel.
Well, if the dead woman isn't important, then the killer must be.
I would just like to meet the man who gave you your other face. And you're going to introduce us now!
Michael Caine heads a two-part investigation to unmask Jack the Ripper, starting tomorrow at 9 on ITV.
The news from ITN.
Kinnock tells Lamont, don't waste the brass on tax cuts. Army on the streets as Algeria cancels election. Scuffles at Moscow's biggest anti-Yeltsin rally. And the old flame who flickers in Desi's heart. Good evening. Government sort from the Weekend News team. Good evening.
New drama on ITV. 70 years ago, Ireland was empire.
I will not only coerce them, I will beat them into the ground.
You all know the British will never accept a republic.
This is your first chance of having a treaty with the people.
It's a typical piece of Lloyd George chicanery.
Let's continue the war and have no truck with negotiation.
I don't want to go to war again. I don't believe we can win it.
The true story of the treaty, Wednesday at 9 on ITV.
Good evening. It's going to be dry with light winds for most of the coming week, but the same area of high pressure will also bring us frost and fog. Some of it fairly dense, I think you'll find, so difficult conditions on the roads. But once the fog is finally cleared, most of us can look forward to some wintry sunshine, I think, during the next few days. Let's come back to tonight's weather, though. Some of the fog this afternoon never really cleared at all, and it's already becoming much more widespread and really quite dense in places, so difficult conditions on the roads. The clouds just about thick enough in one or two places out in the east to produce a spot or two of drizzle. Really no more than that, but that's all you need when roads are already close to freezing. There will be some icy patches around, so a difficult night on the roads. The temperatures tonight, well, quite variable. Where there is a patch of cloud around, that will help to keep temperatures a degree or two above freezing. But the breaks here and there, and I think most of us at risk of a frost, could be down around -2, -3 in quite a few places by the end of the night. So on to tomorrow then. Not a lot changing during the morning, really. The fog will linger well into the morning, so the morning rush hour looks like being fairly difficult. There's some patches of thicker cloud around, but most places brightening up gradually during the day. The fog will linger here and there, but most of us can expect a little bit of wintry sunshine. Temperatures struggling up to around 5 or 6 at best. 6 is about 43 degrees Fahrenheit. Light winds, of course, for us all. That's it then. Good night.
I think you've got a terrific future.
An inspiring true-life story.
Yeah, the agent gets 10%. I want all of you.
At the height of her success, the odds turned against her.
I think we're looking at a cancer situation.
If it doesn't belong in you, you must get it out.
There's still so much living to do, and I won't stop that.
The Anne Gillian story, tonight.
After the local weather forecast, the South Bank Show joins Lenny Henry in Harlem in search of funk.
Tonight, there's a new Crufts Supreme Champion, and for the 12th year running, it's a dog fed on pedigree chum. No wonder top breeders recommend it.
I was on a plane the other day, stuck next to a chap banging on about his new car. Dear me, what he didn't know about hydraulic tappets. Then I said, I've just bought a Rover 200, and I told him the price. He went very quiet after that.
The Rover 200 series from £9,957.
From Whirlpool comes the Aqualine washing machine. It saves time, water and energy. Aqualine from Whirlpool brings quality to life.
Are you being kept in the dark about your savings? Can you be sure your money's in the right account? If you'd rather be in a building society which helps you make the most of your savings, call us on 0800 44 66 00. N&P. No one's busier on your behalf.
This is the final call for passengers travelling to Anchorage, Alaska on flight
You look after
number
Mum for me.
NW.
Hey,
Gina,
let's go
to the room. Bye, Dad.
It's been great being home. She didn't have to go. You got your sister and her wacky friend to keep you company. Not the same. I've got to go.
Final call for...
There he is! Look! Look, can you see?
Kleenex tissues, one of life's little comforts.
Play Super Wingo with the Daily Mirror tomorrow. Big cash prizes can be won every day in the greatest instant money game in the universe. Buy the Daily Mirror tomorrow.
We want to be able to live a little.
I want to be able to live a lot.
Want to be able to go out once in a while.
I want to be out every night.
Want to be able to enjoy the garden.
I want to be able to stuff the garden, hire a big yacht and disappear around the world.
More and more women are taking control of their futures with a personal pension of their own.
We want to be together.
Whatever your plans for later life, you want to be with Prudential.
Is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah, she's got to go. I'll take your car. Trust me. I'm a doctor.
Good evening. High pressure now covering most of Britain means that the weather's expected to stay pretty much the same for the rest of the week. First tonight. It'll stay dry with frost in places, and patchy cloud may help to hold temperatures close to freezing in many parts of the north and east, although clear skies in other areas will quickly lead to freezing fog and temperatures as low as -2 Celsius. The fog and ice may be slow to clear in the morning and may well last throughout the day, but generally it'll be dry with some sunshine. During the afternoon, those sunny spells will help temperatures to reach a maximum of 6 Celsius, but where fog lingers, it might not get much above 1 or 2 Celsius. As for the outlook, there'll be a good deal of dry weather and wintry sunshine during the day, with a high risk of fog and frost overnight. I leave you with the summary.
Now on London Weekend Television in stereo, The South Bank Show.
Hello, on tonight's South Bank Show, Lenny Henry presents...
Its Heart of the Matter asks whether the Church has a moral duty to push for peace, and Joan Bakewell asks Church leaders and the families of Iraq's hostages whether we should go to war. Now, at 10 o'clock, the news with Michael Burke.
Mrs. Thatcher says her party is being split by personal ambition and private rancour. Mr. Heseltine says Mrs. Thatcher won't let the cabinet make decisions about Europe. She flies out for the conference on the biggest arms reduction treaty in history. And Saddam Hussein says he'll release all the hostages by March if the atmosphere stays peaceful. Good evening. With less than 48 hours this weekend. Good night.
Good evening. Well, it looks like staying cold for the next few days, in part due to these rather stiff west-to-north-westerly winds which have been blowing down across the country over the past 24 hours. They'll still be with us tomorrow, but they will be moderating to a degree. They'll still bringing a fair crop of showers along with them. Now, one extra complication, this little weather front out in the middle of the Atlantic, that's moving towards us at a fair old lick actually at the moment, about 50 miles an hour. That's where it'll be around the middle of the day tomorrow, bringing some cloud and outbreaks of rain across much of southern Britain, whereas the north stays in a straightforward run of sunshine and showers. Quite a number of showers earlier on this evening, some heavier ones coming into Wales and the Midlands. They're beginning to die out inland, but they'll keep going up in northern and western Scotland and down these western fringes of England and Wales as well. Now, temperatures tonight staying a few degrees above freezing because of this stiff wind, though in the glens of Scotland there could just be a touch of frost there where you get well sheltered. Well, tomorrow for Scotland, a straightforward mix of sunshine and showers, then some hail, sleet and snow though, particularly above about 1,200 feet. Now, coming further south, a bright enough start in the east, but you will find rain into Northern Ireland first thing in the morning in actual fact, and that rain zipping across the country as we run towards the middle of the day. I think the heavier and more persistent rain is likely to be on the higher ground in the west. A cold day, top temperature in the south about 11.52 Fahrenheit.
We could have a new Prime Minister by Wednesday. On the eve of the Tory leadership election, Panorama sums up Heseltine's chances. We'll ask him what makes him better suited than her to live at number 10, and assess whether after a week of open warfare over policy, the Tory party can reunite. The battle for number 10 in Panorama tomorrow night at 9:30.
Cross Creek is just starting on BBC Two, tonight's film about the life of Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings, the author who left her husband and home to start a new life in the Florida Everglades. Here on BBC One, Joan Bakewell looks at the moral issues surrounding the Gulf crisis and takes us to the heart of the matter.
Mellow birds for mellow moments.
Every day should have some.
To win at this game, your feet need help. They need an edge. If you've got to do fast starts, quick stops, jumping, kicking, miles of foot-pounding running, here's a winning edge. Super Tough insoles from Odor Eaters. Super Tough reduce shock and foot fatigue. It's like wearing thousands of tiny foam springs to help you keep that spring in your step feeling. And Odor Eaters activated charcoal formula keeps even trainers from smelling like trainers. Whatever your game, feel more spring in it. Super tough odor eaters for a winning edge.
TVI reporter Dennis Tui in Italy. He's tracking down common market overspending. The purchase, olive oil. The bottle is weighed before it's filled, and with the same precision, the British taxpayer will then be asked to pay his share of the subsidy on olive oil, up to 50% on every bottle.
Buongiorno.
Mrs. Thatcher's argument with the common market is a
The Johann Strauss dancers appeared by arrangement with Raymond Gobbe Limited. Next week, Robert White presents a program of American music featuring Laverne Williams, Katia and Marielle Lebec, and Owain Arwell Hughes, who conducts the National Philharmonic Orchestra. Here come the classics, again at 7:15 next Sunday. In 55 minutes, Jane Glover continues to trace the development of the orchestra as it reaches the romantic period, with the music of Berlioz in particular. Now, the final part of our natural history of the Wild West, the making of a continent. A BBC book called The Making of a Continent gives a fascinating account of the geological history of North America.
In Sri Lanka in 1973, we were greatly helped by Dr. Somasundaram Rajasundaram, a champion of the tea workers. During the communal troubles there this year, he was first imprisoned without trial, and then in July, in a prison riot, he was killed.
Next Sunday, Potter puts his mind to acquiring a new boiler for the church, and that's a little earlier at 9:40. Well, we must apologise to viewers on the south coast who received their pictures from the Roe Ridge transmitter for some poor quality reception. This is due to a fault at the transmitter, which of course we're doing our best to put right. Now the news, and in 15 minutes, Everyman reports from Guatemala on how the Roman Catholic Church is coping with the new and none too sympathetic military government. This is BBC One.
Three families, including 8 children, died in the Scilly Isles helicopter crash. One family, the Goddards, only their youngest son survived. 2,000 people spend their Sunday searching for a 5-year-old girl. Tom Watson, the American golfer, holds on to the Open. 8 children are among the 20 victims of the helicopter crash off the Scilly Isles. Most of the casualties came from just...
A new series begins tonight on Radio 4, You'll Never Be 16 Again. It's a 7-part history of British teenagers, and the programme starts with Nothing Shakin' at 8:15. That's on Radio 4 this evening. Now, here on Daytime on 2, we find ourselves on the rocks in the series about the evolution of the landscape.
Let's look at some of the world's landscapes. The Grand Canyon in these slopes could succumb to the effect of weathering and be reduced to profiles as gentle or rolling as those in East Anglia or the North Yorkshire moors.
Well, the software featured in that programme is available to schools.
Now a late look at the regional news. Good evening. There's been a further reprieve for the threatened shipbuilding yards on the River Wear, with everyone expecting a final decision on the future or closure of North East shipbuilders. Industry Minister Tony Newton surprised the House of Commons by announcing that 3 new bidders had made offers to take over the yards, which employ 2,000 people. And his decision to give the Wearside industry another fortnight or so was welcomed by Sunderland North's Labour MP Bob Clay. He was grateful for the breathing space and said he believed Mr Newton was keen to see the shipyards saved by a private buyer. But the minister stressed that there had to be a genuinely viable proposal on finance, technology and common market rules to keep the yards in business. Environment Secretary Nicholas Ridley has ordered that Northumbria Water's profits should be kept secret. The authority, which made more than £12 million profit last year, was due to announce its figures for the first half of the present financial year. But Mr Ridley, who's organising the privatisation of the water industry, has ordered officials to keep the profits quiet as sensitive information. The North East coalfield has played a major part in British Coal's £190 million operating profit for the first half of the financial year. It's the best performance for 20 years. But after paying interest charges and counting the cost of major restructuring, that profit has been turned into a £56 million loss. A County Durham man has been charged with attempted murder. 21-year-old Michael George of Hague Street in Ferry Hill Station is alleged to have attacked another man with a knife in Ferry Hill on Saturday night. He was remanded in custody by Sedgefield magistrates. A woman drugs courier arrested at Darlington railway station with cannabis worth £18,000 was jailed for 18 months at Teesside Crown Court. 38-year-old Susan Angel had travelled from London with 5 kilos of the drug in a hold-all. She was supposed to hand them over to someone she didn't know, but gave them to a drug squad detective by mistake. The region joined the Prince of Wales' 40th birthday party in a big way today, with a Peterlee businessman pledging £1 million to help young people set up their own businesses. David Brown, who set up a highly successful engineering firm building earth-moving equipment, was at Prince Charles' birthday party in Birmingham with young people who have been helped by the Prince's Youth Business Trust. It was set up with more than £500,000 from the ITV Telethon Trust, including £35,000 from the Tyne Tees region. A brief look now at the weather for tomorrow, and a dry 24 hours with good clear spells tonight and broken cloud and sunny periods tomorrow. The temperature rising from 4 Celsius, 39 Fahrenheit, to 11 Celsius, 52 Fahrenheit, tomorrow afternoon. And that's the weather forecast. Stay with Tyne Tees tonight for the Northern Business Awards after the break.
It's almost 20 minutes past 12. The midday news and weather begin at 12:45, followed by Pebble Mill at 1, which today includes a new approach to the clothes we wear, a discussion on film censorship, how to make wooden toys, and music from tenor Richard White. But now BBC One is returning to a trade test transmission.
Well, that brings us to the end of this morning's programmes for schools and colleges. Our next programme is the midday news at 12:45, and that's followed by the weather and Pebble Mill at 1. In the meantime, BBC One is returning to a trade test transmission.